Every gardener knows the excitement of flipping through seed catalogues or scrolling online, adding unusual crops to the list in hopes of discovering a new favorite. But let me be honest with you, there are some plants that, no matter how intriguing they look, simply aren't worth the time, space, or frustration in your garden. Today, I want to save you from the wasted effort of 9 crops that consistently disappoint, whether it's because they're invasive, unproductive, or just not practical for most gardeners. If you've ever thought about trying one of these, hear me out first before you dig up valuable space in your beds. Jerusalem artichokes will take over your garden. Jerusalem artichokes, also called sunchokes, sound appealing with their nutty tubers and sunflower-like blooms. The problem is that once you plant them, they spread like wildfire. Tubers break off and resprout, making them nearly impossible to fully remove. Unless you're ready to dedicate a permanent contained area, these will become a weedy headache instead of a useful food source. Thorned blackberries will make harvesting miserable. Blackberries are delicious, but the thorned varieties aren't worth it. The canes are viciously spiked, tearing at your arms every time you harvest. With thornless varieties so widely available, there's no reason to put yourself through the misery of handling thorned blackberries when you could be harvesting pain-free. Kiwano looks exotic but tastes like a letdown. Kiwano, or horned melon, has a stunning spiky orange rind that makes it look like a must-grow curiosity. Unfortunately, the flavour doesn't live up to its looks. Most gardeners report bland, watery fruit that isn't worth the long season it requires. Save your space for crops with flavour that justifies the effort. Lemon cucumbers produce more problems than food. These small, round cucumbers are cute, but honestly, they tend to overproduce quickly and become seedy and bitter. They also attract cucumber beetles more readily than other cucumber varieties. So, if you want refreshing cucumbers, it's better to stick with tried and true slicing or pickling types instead of wasting trellising space on lemon cucumbers. Lebanese squash gets overwhelming fast. Lebanese squash, which is pretty similar to zucchini, grows vigorously and produces so heavily that it can quickly overwhelm most kitchens. Unless you truly need mountains of squash, you'll end up with excess that just goes uneaten. For most gardeners, 1 or 2 productive zucchini plants are honestly more than enough. Edamame requires too much space for little reward. Fresh edamame is definitely fun to eat, but the plants need a lot of room and you have to harvest all at once. By the time you've dedicated a whole bed to them, you'll realize the yield isn't nearly as rewarding as the space they took up. Honestly, buying frozen edamame is far more efficient. Purple tomatoes are beautiful, but honestly pretty disappointing. You know, a lot of seed catalogues tempt gardeners with these deep purple or almost black tomato varieties. While they definitely look dramatic, the flavour usually just can't compete with classics like Cherokee Purple or Brandywine. After months of tending, it's a real letdown to bite into a tomato that looks stunning but, well, tastes watery. Napa cabbage attracts way too many pests. Sure, Napa cabbage grows quickly and has a tender, mild flavour, but the downside is that it's a total magnet for pests like cabbage worms and aphids. Unless you're really committed to some heavy pest management, you'll probably end up harvesting whole riddled leaves instead of the crisp heads you were hoping for. Malabar spinach is, honestly, just slimy and unappealing. It's often recommended as a heat-tolerant summer green, but its leaves have this mucilaginous texture that, let's face it, most gardeners and eaters find pretty unpleasant. It climbs vigorously, so it looks great on a trellis, but when it comes to actually eating it, you'll probably pass it by after just one try. At the end of the day, your garden space is valuable, so don't waste it on crops that fight you, overwhelm you, or leave you underwhelmed at harvest. Really, focus on plants that bring joy and flavor to your table instead. If this list saved you some time and frustration, go ahead and subscribe to Gentle Herb Living for more honest, experience-driven gardening advice, and share this video with a gardener who needs it. Together, we can grow smarter, healthier, and happier gardens.